Sick Festival, I tend to say, is about the shit stuff that happens in life and death and how we survive it, basically. Or another way of saying it would be the physical, mental and social challenges of life and death. And it always starts with human experience, basically. I think we were keen to kind of present really interesting, kind of high quality contemporary art in a way that connects with the important stuff that people care about and that matters to people in their lives. So we started investigating that kind of idea and that model about, I guess we started looking at it about 5 years ago, probably.
2010, I found one of my old notebooks, actually. Where I'd sort of started scribbling down all these sort of like groupings of work that I'd been finding all around the world, basically. And then they all started to look like they were like coming together as something that needed to be explored further, which was the seed of Sick, basically.
We realised, talking about all these kind of issues, that we thought, can you make a festival about stuff that's quite difficult and sometimes kind of taboo, and would people want to talk about this? But we kind of realised that's exactly what everybody is kind of desperate to be talking about and doesn't necessarily get the opportunity. And because I think when we started thinking about some of the concepts and thematics, it's really kind of personal stuff, but also there's something in those kind of personal difficult experiences which is kind of universal, because everybody has shit and stuff at some point in their life, so it becomes a kind of a point of connection.
And I just started getting quite tired of the same conversations and feeling like, hang on, where are the people in the room? You know, the people I want to connect to. You know, I come from a pretty tough background, and they weren't in the room. You know, and I was like, I want them here, and how can we make that happen? You know, and it's like presenting work that's difficult and got an urgent message or an urgent conversation to be had, but then how can we make that conversation happen even more? You know, bringing the experts or the other people.
All different kind of experts,
yeah,
isn't it?
And that's
it's
whether
not
they're from charities or
activism,
people
or people who've just kind of lived through this kind of stuff themselves. Because it's like we've got our own experiences of life and stuff, and people around us and stuff, but we don't claim to be experts in any of it, I think.
No, definitely not.
I have to think in terms of managed ignorance is our kind of role. It's a way of kind of being the kind of, some kind of interface between all these amazing academics or writers or artists and people involved in sort of clinical practice and all these different things, and we're the kind of point in the middle where all those things come together, I guess.
That's the moment, I think, that just keeps constantly touching me, is everyone willing to share their experiences, you know, and it's tough, and I know that, you know, and yeah, when you're hearing it, it's just constantly for me, you know, running away and crying over in the corner, you know, because it's incredibly generous and touching and wonderful, and I hope, you know, that's the thing that I just want us to, you know, have for people to be able to experience and have that shared experience, because I think when we are able to share whatever those experiences might be, it just makes it, I mean, personally for me, it makes it so much easier to live with.
Sick Lab is more like a very big advisory group than a very small festival, I think we think of it. We've looked at things like mental illness, death, sexual abuse, suicide, so some kind of heavy stuff which is kind of broadly around traumatic experience, I guess. We've started to get very interested in a kind of expanded idea of identity, because I think when you say identity, it often presents a whole load of sort of sociological discourses around race, gender, sexuality, disability, all these kind of things, which are absolutely massively important, but we were interested in kind of giving maybe a way into this question of what makes me who I am, and opening that up a bit, so beyond some of those discourses. So it includes things like genetics, philosophy, psychology, all these kind of different discourses. We started to realise how much of an overlap there was between identity and trauma, and so we started to get this kind of cloud of ideas around how the difficult experiences of life that people live through shape their personality, shapes their experience. And what Sick Lab is part of it is testing out some threads through that and going, okay, which ones of these make sense, which ones connect with people, which ones feel interesting to us. Sick kind of emerged from the Basement, which is a contemporary performance venue in Brighton, which Helen set up probably, 15 years ago now?
And so that's where we really sort of fine-tuned our practice, I suppose,
Yeah.
really. That was our starting point.
And built our frustrations about what could be different or different ways of working, which led to SICK, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. We work with, obviously, we're exploring at the moment the Attenborough Centre, which was formerly the Gardner Arts Centre on the Sussex campus. And we've been working really closely with Bobby Farsides from the
Brightlight Sussex Medical School.
Contact, Lowry, Whitworth, Home, Central Libraries.
Public spaces around the city will be using quite a lot.
Mosey.
Yeah.
Obviously, some of our key partners will be the NHS and...
The university has obviously been a fantastic partner and supporter, and through loads and loads of individual academics.
And then obviously lots of charities. We work with a considerable amount of charities as well. We have to have a lot of conversation and we have to argue a lot. Because we do have to argue a lot, because that's how we work together. It's like that
this piece doesn't make sense. It's like, yes, it does if you look at it like this. And so there's a lot of that. SICK kind of represents all the stuff that we kind of don't want, I guess, and all the things that we want to kind of push away. And I guess we're about kind of bringing in all that stuff that we're fearful of.
Yeah. There's a hell of a lot of fear in there for all of us, isn't there? Yeah, tons of fear. I think that's the thing that can stop us at lots of levels.
With so much of the stuff that we talk about and deal with, there's such sensitivities involved in it, and which is sometimes quite hard to navigate, and we just really appreciate having people that we can go to who are really sort of thoroughly invested in those kind of issues and can advise us about kind of how not to make stupid crass mistakes and things like that. I think that's
which
really
obviously we will still do, because we're only human.
Because that's human too.
But we would like to be slightly more informed humans, so we can try and overcome it.